99 FM, your inspiration station. You're still tuned into The Kingdom with your boy Script, and it is time now for the warm-up session. You know, get the body loose. We are stretching, we are warming up for the rest of the day, but it feels like we are building the hype up for the morning, because the morning is just so lit today. Today, I'm speaking to Limpa Mupetami, who's one of Namibia's leading sports journalists, an award-winning journalist. Let's just throw all the credentials out there and make sure we give her her flowers. She's best known for her sports coverage for the Namibian Sun, where she has worked for the past 6 years, and she was awarded Sports Journalist of the Year award in 2018. And she has a background in sports as well, having played for the Unamboki soccer team, and we have the absolute pleasure of welcoming her to 99 FM. Good morning.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you so much. I'm very happy to be here.
Before we even get into anything sports, tell me how you've been. It's a pandemic. I feel like I've said we're in a pandemic a million times in this month alone. How have you been handling everything?
I'm doing quite well. You know, if you have a support structure, I don't know. You know, if you have good friends around you, good family, I think, you know, you pull through things. So yeah, I've been doing well. Yeah.
And what has been the biggest highlight, positive? Let's not do the negatives. What's been the most positive highlight for you in such a tough time? Like, how have you overcome certain struggles?
There are a lot of positives, man. Like little things that you list down that you would like to achieve. I don't really know what to pinpoint at the moment right now, but I think just, you know, keeping myself fit has been a positive for me. You know, getting content rolling in for my show and for my paper and stuff like that. That has been a positive for me. And obviously just keeping my job also. You know, a lot of people have lost their jobs around this time. So I think that is a positive in itself.
Definitely. Just for the people out there, just describe yourself in 3 words.
You know, I have a problem when people always ask me that. You know, I don't know. I think I'm just a go-getter. I'm very ambitious, and I want to obviously always do good things for the people that are around me. That involves, you know, my personal life as well as my work as well. So I don't know. A lot of things, man. I'm just
but go-getter is at the top of.
Yes, go-getter, ambitious. You know, being a positive, happy person, because we need that a lot.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
And you spoke about work just briefly, and your work involves sports. So when did you really fall in love with sports, and what sport made you fall in love with just the sporting world?
You see, back in high school, I used to play football. I tried a lot of sports, but I think I was really good at football. And then when I went to Unam, I joined the Unamboki football club, and I studied a bit there, and then I went to the Namibian. You know, I was working there, and I started doing entertainment. We did youth as well. I did a lot of stuff, and then there was this lady called Natasha, and she always kept telling me, Limba, I think you should maybe, you know, delve into sports. Why don't you write and whatsoever? Because then there was not really a lot of women that were into sports. But then I was like, why should I be the one doing the guy stuff? You know, I don't want to do that. You know, and then at some point I realized when I moved to NMH, like to the Namibian Sun and whatsoever not, I realized that maybe that's what I wanted, that's what I should be doing. Because I would read the paper and then I would be like, why don't they try these? Why don't they do these? There's so much content. Why are they not pushing for that? You know, so a lady left at the Namibian Sun, and then I was like, you know what, this is my opportunity, I'm going to do this. And then, so I applied for the job, I got the job, and things just started rolling in. I mean, I didn't feel like I needed to find myself or whatsoever, because I was like, I have been around. You know, I just needed to.
And having an understanding, like coming, like you said, from the background of having played sports, I think it made it so much more worthwhile. Would you agree?
Yeah, and I knew a lot of athletes. I played with a lot of them back in the day, so it was like, how would you say? It was by a maklak. So it was quite easy.
I hear you. Yeah. So far, what has been your career highlight?
Well, okay. I won the 2018 Sports Awards, but I would say the 2017 17 nomination was my highlight, because it was around that time when I was getting into sports. You know, and then I think the first year whatsoever, I was already nominated, you know, and then I had so many guys that have been in the industry for such a long time. And in a space of 9 months, I was like, people were seeing the stuff that I could do. So that was a highlight for me.
Yeah, and that just the validation that like this is the right direction, I'm assuming. Like just from the get-go, you got nominated. It must have been validating to say, do this.
Yeah, and I mean, like I said, it's an industry that is that has so many men in it, you know. So being a woman, and then you have guys that has experience of 15, 17 years, you come in and then you get a nomination. That was a highlight for me, because I was like, you know what, it's not about who you are as a person, it's about what you can put on the table. So that for me is my highlight.
100%. Now I'm going to ask you something that just to pick your brain a bit. Hopefully we don't get anybody angry.
Okay.
Who would you say are your favorite athletes and sports stars in Namibia? Or Namibian sports stars. Let's not just limit it to the ones in Namibia.
Okay, we have so many people that bring different dimensions to the table. I love the work ethic of Hilalia Johannes, the marathoner. I think she has so much to give, you know, and I just love the fact that she's been around for such a long time, and she has delivered, you know. That is what I like the most. So that is what I really like the most about her work ethic. So that she would be my number one. I would also pick the Paralympic athletes like Anania Shikongo, Johannes Nambala, because you see these guys, just like Hilalia, have been doing so much, you know, work, you know, with little sponsorship and whatsoever not. They don't really complain a lot, and I like that about people, you know. Do your work and let people see what you can do, and then people can chip in and say, okay, let me help you in this regard. Also, Namibian boxers, you know, I go to this boot camp, right? And I train with these guys. And most of the time when you are on the other side of the fence, you say, why is this guy always just losing when he has a fight? But we don't see the hard work that these guys put into their careers, you know. So some of the guys that I would pick is Lucas Desert Storm. I would pick guys like, let's see, Jeremiah Nakathila, you know, because I see, you know, the things that they go through. Yeah, and so many other athletes, man. Everybody has something that they can offer. Table, so those are just some of my top.
And just a shout out to all the athletes out there just doing their thing, because, you know, the sporting world was hit globally. So for you to persevere and really push through, I'm sure you do that every day in your training sessions and whatnot, but this was a mountain that none of us expected to have to climb, and a mountain that not many people had climbed. So we're just going to give a shout out to all the athletes out there. My personal one, I know usually you're asking the questions, but I'm just going to answer my own question as well, just to make it feel like you're still in control of the interview. My personal favorite the past 2 years has been Zanata Coleman. Because I don't feel like she's getting the right attention that she needs from the footballing world here. I mean, of course, our attention is here because the football is a bit up in the air at the moment, and it's a sensitive topic. But Zanata Coleman has just been delivering. She's been going out there, putting Namibia on the map. And shout out to her. That's my favorite.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
Me too. She's fantastic. Yeah.
Now let's get back into the pandemic in terms of your work life. How has that really been affected? You spoke about, you know, the blessing of having the job and being able to still work, but how has it been hindered, and how has it been pushed?
You see, obviously, a lot of stuff like, you know, event-based stuff have come to a stop, you know, because of regulations and whatsoever not. But how I survived, you see, you have a lot of work that you pile up, and you say, you know what, I'm going to do this feature this time, whatever, and then you don't get around to it because you need to run around and whatsoever not. So the pandemic actually gave me a chance to finish on, you know, projects that I've been keeping at the back. So I wouldn't really say that I was affected negatively, you know, because what I do is I try as best as possible to understand my readers. I try to see what I can give them, you know, the stuff that people like. You say you've got different mediums. You have the Namibian, you have the Namibian Sun, you have the Republican, but you need to understand who reads the Republican, who reads the Namibian, who reads the New Era, for instance, and that is the content that you give your people. So what I did was I focused a lot on features. I spoke to different athletes about, you know, the struggles that they have, what you want the government, you know, to help you with, that type of stuff. You know, you can look at the simple stuff. You can call in Colin Benjamin and ask him, how many t-shirts have you collected so far over the years? And that in itself is a story, because people want to know, like, who gave him this t-shirt, for instance, who is he still in contact with, and stuff like that. So in that sense, I survived. You know, I think at some point you get a little bit frustrated because you're like, you know what, I want to do something different. But you need to be creative, and that is the platform that my paper gives me. That is the platform that the company that I work for gives me. You know, the space to be creative with my work. So that, I think, allowed me to survive.
And you know, even just hearing you speak, you can only tell, like, from the work you can tell the 10,000 hours that you've put in. But even when I speak to you, it's even just more so evident that you really, it's a passion that is so deep, and it makes it easy to put in that work. But what would you say is the future of Namibia's sports journalism? I mean, after you've been in this, and you've contributed so much, but what would you say is the future, and how can we get young people interested in journalism?
I think at the moment we are already in the future, friends, because as you a lot of companies have already started moving digital, you know, with their content and whatsoever not. You have obviously the print side of stuff. People still appreciate that, but you have you fight with social media, for instance, and that is what we are looking at right now. With us, we have a show called the Sport Rap Show. It's still in its infancy, but obviously we're trying to push things out, because you need to reach different people, you know, different audiences and whatsoever not. So definitely we're already in the future. And how do we get young people into sports? On the working side of things, I think you need to have the love for whatever it is that you want to do. I think my encouragement would basically be for women, you know, because we don't have a lot of women in sports. I think we have a lot to offer, so I would actually encourage that. But you need to have the love for it. For young athletes, they shouldn't really just don't focus too much on the money that you're going to make. Do it because you have the ability, you have the talent, and that obviously pays at the end of the day.
Awesome. Now, speaking of money, I have some quick fire questions for you. Nothing intrusive or personal. First thing that comes to your mind, please answer.
Okay.
Limpa, time or money?
Money.
Money.
I like money.
Money to afford more time to do what you want?
Exactly.
Or more time to afford more money?
And to travel with the money.
Okay.
Yeah.
Invisibility or flight?
Invisibility. I want to hear what people think of. I mean, I want to see and think.
Just sit in a room.
Yeah, and just what is this person thinking? Yeah.
Okay. Would you rather be able to visit 100 years into the past or 100 years into the future?
Into the future, friend.
Nah?
Yeah.
You want to see
what am I going to do in the past?
Exactly. I'm with you on that. Thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate you, and definitely when you know things get back to some sense of normality, you'll definitely welcome back, and I want to chat to you. And I think every now and then maybe you can come through and we can just talk sports, because I think Namibia, like you said, has a lot to offer, and just engaging the Namibian youth and women and showing them that, look, this is a thing, and you have a lot to offer here if you have a passion for it. Don't let what the standards and the status quo and what people are saying get into your mind. Focus on your dreams, and that's really what I'm getting, the vibe and the aura I'm getting from you. So we appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
And in many ways, let's just, you know, it's the warm-up session, but also our game changer of the day, because you've truly changed the game. And we really appreciate you for that. But we're going to dive back into the kingdom now.
Yeah,
and
thank you so much, man.
Thank you so much. And I'm going to get into Lioness and J. Derobi coming up next from Wish You Were Here. It's Gimme on 99.